So, remember the Faithless Forum? Well, I do. I met a ton of great content creators while I was there, but I actually also met quite a few fans of the various content creators who wanted to become content creators themselves. Well, one of them has recently started their channel, and I think he deserves a good few more subs based on the quality of the content he's produced so far. But this isn't just a simple shout-out. May I present to you, Tater Thoughts.
Is that my cue? Oh, hi Suris. Honored to be here. So glad I could join you. After meeting you and so many others at the forum, I sensed a gargantuan calling to become a content creator. Not attributing it to anything divine, but hey, I feel more passion than a whorehouse full of passion fruit. So tell me, why have you summoned me?
Why, to listen to some church songs, of course. Songs from an atheist megachurch, apparently. Or atheist camp, depending on which skit you're listening to.
Not skits. Atheist megachurches? You mean to tell me there are atheists who don't want to sleep in on the weekends? Tragic.
I know, right? Not sleeping in on the weekends would be as inconvenient as being cut off by an intro.
So where'd you get that fancy schmancy warhammer anyway? All I have back in my studio is a wimpy minigun that I can't even pick up.
This hammer? It's only a prop. It's the one that Fake Me uses in the intro you have to be worried about. And you'd have to ask him about that, but I'm warning you, he doesn't really speak, at all. And he's only ever here for 4 seconds at a time. It's weird.
Well, it's really shiny and dangerous looking. Much like this Tim Hawkins guy. Just between you and me, if things go south, I hope Fake You gets to me first. That's something you have to think about when doing collabs, right? Sounds like a considerable factor when covering spooky, scary things.
Nah, but I think the scariest thing about this guy isn't how he grossly misrepresents atheists, it's how his audience responds to it. Let's get into his presentation and find out what comedy gold he has in store for us.
Let's hope his views are more navel-lint disgusting than Akira disgusting.
I was reading this thing in the news several months ago, and it was a news story talking about the existence of atheist megachurches.
Hold up. I just can't get past this. I'm sorry, what was that editing? Instead of a zoom cut or a jump cut, we see a mildly seizure-inducing flash. Sorry, I just couldn't look past that.
I regret everything immediately.
I mean, what do you do there? Do you sing worship songs at an atheist church? What do you say? Shout to the void, all the earth let us sing. Power and majesty, praise to nothing. What do you sing to?
So, let's start off with the claim about atheist megachurches, and then we'll get into his music. And I didn't address it before because I was too busy rinsing my eyes after that obnoxious flash cut. Tate, have you heard about these places? And I'm not talking about Unitarian churches. That's not exactly the same thing I think he's talking about.
Of a standard megachurch structure, I can't say I have, Suris. Never before had I heard of such places. I know there isn't one out in Houston. It already has a megachurch owned by a weasel-human hybrid of sorts. Hey, I wonder what would happen if there were multiple megachurches that each preached to different denominations or religions within a city. I'll bring the popcorn to that turf war.
Now I want to go play Splatoon. It'll be a lot more entertaining than listening to this guy's songs. Oh right, we're supposed to be responding to music. Well, I can at least say this. Based on the content of the song, Praise to Nothing is at least incredibly apt, as there's really no substance in this particular parody whatsoever.
I think that applies to most of these songs. Does that count as a spoiler? I try not to spoil. Then again, are you sure you want to keep going? We could be doing something much more productive and beneficial, like huffing paint, or seppuku.
No need for seppuku. We have more mental suicide to get to.
Man, do they have children's church at the atheist megachurch? What songs do you sing to kids at an atheist church? Like, no one loves the little children, all the children of the world. No one hears you when you cry, no one hears your lullaby, no one loves the little children of the world.
Oh wow, couple things. Firstly, we love our children, we people. This guy must think he's living in a supernatural simulation to think that it's either God or nobody that can love children. Doubly, if the nobody void can only be filled by this guy's God, then I'd say it's best to just leave the love zone vacant forever. Nobody is better than that special somebody, if you acquire my drift. Jesus, Suris, I had no idea this guy would be such a downer. He's like a Joy Division themed coffee house with Gaspar Noé as a barista bleak. Most of the atheists I know are filled with the lust for life and overall kindness. Who in their right mind would tell a child that no one loves them? I mean, aside from in comment sections.
I've played League of Legends, and it's a pretty common occurrence there, but the implications of this song do really bother me. As if God doesn't love the children, who will? Like, it's almost like he doesn't know what parents are. Is that it, Tim? Is that it? Did your parents not love you enough?
At the very least, it seems as though they kept him from interacting with atheists.
Reason why we exist, but there's no reason why. Reason why we exist, but there's no reason why.
Nope. We make our own purpose in life. Mine is to make videos exposing bad ideas and sometimes starting difficult conversations, and yours is lying to audiences in song. Reasons why I'm listening to your bullcrap, but I can't find the reason why.
I'd really like a family someday, along with many other things. Certainly Tim and I could agree on that providing meaning in life. People tend to find their own personal reason or reasons in living life. It seems that the best we can do is make of it what we will. I don't know about you, but having countless choices in life I would think is exponentially more hopeful than believing there's a divine assignment. Only reason you think that we think there isn't a reason is because we don't invest stock into an afterlife. Why do that when we know the one life we could verify could use some sprucing up?
Well, because you can only spruce up the afterlife with God bucks, which are won solely based on how many souls you harvest. Save. Save. That's the word I meant.
Row your boat gently down the reef. Wallowing in your unbelief. Let's do the rounds. Remember the rounds? No, you don't want to do that.
Let's not do the rounds, and I don't think any of us really wallow, and if we did, what would it even sound like? Oh God, there's no God, I'm gonna die, and it'll be just like sleep, oh the horror! Actually, never mind. That sounds fine, really. I rather like sleep.
Death will certainly give us a chance to catch up on some lost Zeds. Death isn't an overly pleasant aspect of life, but hey, it's a part of life. Best rip that band-aid off sooner than later. No shame in that from what I can tell. Just because there isn't an apparent afterlife, that does not mean I feel despair over it. Man, so far the only thing this guy has done right is not saying that atheists hate God. He's pretending as though we openly and unitedly acknowledge some certain void though, so he's cutting it a little close, but I'll give him a special brownie point for not confusing atheism with mesotheism, like millions of others have done. I'm really stretching to say at least one positive thing about this act, damn it.
If he did confuse misotheism with atheism, I would love to find a clip of that. If you guys happen to find one where he's talking about atheists hating God, feel free to post it in the comment section.
Okay. Let's try a new one. Evolution, this I know, for Charles Darwin told me so. Accidentally alive, if you're weak, you won't survive.
Do you figure that he cracked up there since he realized that about halfway through his absolutely stupid statement was, well, absolutely stupid? I mean, let's run through them. Do any scientists take it on faith that evolution's a real thing based on a single scientist saying so? No. And Darwin is no exception. Maybe this guy should try researching why we can't fight the common cold, for instance, if he wants some evidence of evolution that assaults his sinuses at least once a year. And finally, since when does atheism have anything to do with evolution? There's plenty of theists who've studied the theory of evolution, at least to an extent, and found it incredibly sound. Dr. Seigart, for instance, and even William Lane Craig, of all people, accepts the theory of evolution as compatible with their personal interpretations of the Genesis account, and I personally know atheists who don't agree with the theory of evolution, so I don't see where this schmuck gets that idea.
I'm gonna retract his special brownie point for thinking that there's a war between evolution and creationism, as well as thinking that it's a dichotomous stance. He probably thinks abiogenesis and the Big Bang are also part of evolution. His stance sounds pretty ridiculous once you give it a good glossing over.
That's the logic, right? That's what they're saying.
As we explained earlier, it's not. But thanks for providing us with this year's straw man to burn. Wickermen have gotten kind of old.
Well, I personally never got tired of watching Burning Man, but I could definitely go for Burning Straw. This man's psyche is more disturbing than straw dogs. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, dishonesty. Whose logic is it anyway? I was almost willing to think you're just a simple guy who hunts for roadkill while on tour, but you just had to paint yourself an even worse picture. How could one be so misunderstanding?
By never picking up a book that wasn't written by 66 plus authors over thousands of years.
I am an A, I am an A-T, I am an A-T-H-E-I-S-T, and I have N-O-T-H-I-N-G to give me hope and certainty, and when I D-I-E, I will be A-L-O-N-E. Hey!
I get it. This guy thinks we're miserable because we don't think that gods exist. He's just been hammering this in on repeat because he doesn't understand that the only common attribute atheists share is that they don't accept the claims of gods existing. Period. That's where it ends. Attitudes vary. His constant reinforcement of this idea that atheists are endlessly miserable and nihilistic has been so pervasive that I wouldn't actually be surprised if it was projection. I don't need the idea of some imaginary friend holding my hand through life and giving me hope, and I pity those who are stuck believing that they must. There's plenty to look for in life without having to turn to the outright non-existent. I don't like to think of Tim here as an awful person, but he's so astoundingly confused that he probably thinks he'd willingly commit atrocities if he were to not believe. He's a prime example of the "if there's no master, whose slave shall I be" comparison. Also, I won't be alone when I die. I won't even be. While I am conscious, however, I'll be sure to do my damnedest to treasure the friendships and relationships I make along the way. That's something I really want.
And sometimes those friendships come at random forums in Texas. But truth be told, I agree. I don't think he's an awful person at all, but rhetoric like this can definitely sway people into becoming awful people. Granted, obviously people like his comedy routine, so more power to him. As long as he's okay with us ripping him a new one when he messes up, well, everything from biology to psychology and philosophy and back. That said, any last words for our pastors in the atheist megachurches that apparently exist out there?
Yeah, if you guys exist, I don't know what you're doing forming those churches. Churches. That's what we have hangouts for. Thank you so much for having me on, Suris.
Ain't no problem. Anytime. Well, now that that's all done, I guess that means people need to go sub to Tater Thoughts. And if you don't, I will find you. And since we've come to that portion of the video, if you guys liked it, please like and subscribe. If this video gave you a chuckle, then please share it around with your friends and give them a chuckle too. Laughter's the one medicine that helps the world go round. At least I think that's how that saying goes. I'm probably sure I messed it up somewhere. As we're moving into the Patreon slides, before you guys think of my terrible figure of speech that I definitely butchered, insert into video tagline here.